Well, as I was walking through a local store, I saw a really cute little Christmas tabletop decoration that inspired me to come home and make this one for you. I hope you enjoy today's quick little craft. Stay tuned and see how fun and easy this is to make. Alright, so first let's talk about what we're going to need. We're going to need a green chenille stem, and we're going to put that off to the side so it stays nice and clean. This is a 1/8 by 1/8 inch piece of basswood. I've cut this to about 4.5 inches. We're going to need 4 inches of it, but this way I have something to hold on to. We need one of these wider craft sticks. We need a regular craft stick, and we need a skinny stick or one of the Hobby Lobby slim sticks or a coffee stirrer stick. And the slim stick is thinner and skinnier than the other two, but any of those will work. You just want something tall and skinny for part of this. All right, so the first thing, I actually went through and I marked the skinny stick and this one. I'm going to do this one on camera. We need to mark both ends of the regular craft stick, one end of that skinny one, and then one end of this one. And what I'm doing, I'm just going down a ways from the end. It doesn't have to be any certain amount. We're going to waste the amount above it, so it's up to you how willing you are to waste it. And you can also use, like if you've got a partial one of these craft sticks on your table, that works too. So I'll cut this one on camera, and then I will go ahead and turn the camera off and do the others. So I am going to line this up on my easy cutter so that that line I just drew is lined up with the blade. Where the line hits the edge of the wood is lined up with the blade. I'm going to cut that. Then I get to play left-handed for a minute, and I'm going to line it up on the other side. And I find that way I get a much more even cut. I'm more apt to get my point in the middle of my roof because these are going to be our little houses. So I am going to turn the camera off. I'm going to cut both ends of this one, and then I'll be back. All right, you can see these are all trimmed. That's one we did on camera. There's this guy. This one's got one point on it. This one is still whole because we're not doing that with that one. This is going to be our ground, and it's going to hold everything. So I'm going to take a piece of sandpaper and just even that up. Make sure I don't have any little sticky out bits of wood. That one I'm crooked on, so I'm going to see if I can get it evened out. If not, my roof just won't be pointed to the center, and that's okay too. That's fine. It will be fine. And craft sticks are not made with the best quality wood, so you're going to find some rough spots. All right, now you need to pick out your paint colors, and since I will probably be putting this in the beachside bungalow in the future, I chose colors that I felt would go with it. Most of these we've already used on other items in the house. I've got, let me turn it over so you guys can see. I have, what is this? Charcoal Gray by Anita's. I have Vanilla Cream by Anita's. I have an Apple Barrel Nautical Blue and a Slate Blue from Anita's. And I also have the Woodsy Smoke brown paint. And I've got a bunch of brushes. I've also got this tub. I'm going to use this as a place to rest all of these. So I'm going to do this one, I think, in this. And since there's nothing on these sticks that will hurt anything, I'm just going to dip directly into my paint. I know I very seldom do that, but I'm going to today. And you want to paint probably about an inch on each one of these ones that you cut the angle at. angles on, and we might need to go back and do a second coat because like this one is not covering great. So I'll probably second coat that one off camera. And let's see, let's go with the gray on one end of this. And once again, down about an inch. We're not going to use the entire inch, but that gives us enough. And be sure you get your sides and your angle. But that gives us enough surface that we can, we'll have it painted all the way to the ground then. So, he barely fits. I think I'll do the cream on the other end of this one. And you can pick any colors you want, or you could even leave it just wood. I've seen these little houses for, you know, real decorations in wood, or even just in like a black. You can do whatever color scheme you feel goes best in your dollhouse. Paint the end of this one. It's kind of quick and sloppy coats of paint. It's fine. We're going to paint it. I'm going to paint it again off camera, like I said. And this stick we're going to do in the brown. And this one, but this way I've got a handle. And this one we want to paint all the way around. And we will be touching up the ends of this later when we cut it to size. So I'm going to turn the camera off. I'm going to get the rest of this stick painted. I'm going to let it dry, put a second coat on, and when this is all dry and ready to work with, I'll come back. Alright, so now I have marked, these are all dry, and I marked all of them off camera because I figured I'd be more apt to get them marked straight and where I wanted them without having to balance the camera too. So I marked this one at 5/8. I just measured down from the top, making sure I kept my ruler straight with the edge, measured down from the top, drew a line at 5/8, at 1 inch, at a 1/2 inch, 3/4, and then this is marked at 2 inches twice. So we're going to cut on all of those lines now. I'm using my Easy Cutter. And you can use whatever you normally safely cut wood with. Please don't use scissors to cut wood. Even this light wood, it can be very, very dangerous. You can see this is, even with my Easy Cutter, that is giving a lot of resistance. If that had been a pair of scissors, they could have broken and I could have gotten hurt very badly. I cringe every time I see YouTube creators cutting wood with scissors. It just drives me nuts. It's one of my pet peeves. Alright, so I'm cutting on all those lines. Oops. And you can make yours whatever size you want. That's the beauty of this project. These come in different sizes. I try to make sure that these are all a different size. I think it's more pleasing to the eye to have the 4 houses at different heights. Now I got to find my line on this brown wood. There's one of them. So I got that just a little bit longer so I'd have something to hold on to while I was painting. Alright, those are all cut now. So these are the pieces we are going to be using. And now I'm going to actually do one more bit of painting, which I almost forgot. Let's see if I have something. I'll just lay them on the tray. I've got a white paint pen. And I'm going to, and this is optional, you could definitely skip this, but I'm going to add some white to the tops of the roofs. And then when this is all done, I'm going to use that same glitter I've been using on all the other Christmas projects. I'm going to use that on this, on the tops of the roofs, just to add a little sparkle. And I may want to cover that white that I just went down the side of. That's okay. And paint pen dries really quickly, so you don't really have to worry about that staying wet very long. All right, I'm going to give this a couple of minutes to dry. And if your paint pen isn't working, just pump the tip up and down on your work tile and it will be fine. Okay, I'm going to let that dry and I will be right back. All right, once your paint is dry, then kind of play around with it, just with where you want to place your houses. I'm going to put mine in this order. I think I like that order. So the first thing I'm going to do is take these two 2-inch sticks. I'm going to run a bead of glue along the majority of both of them. It doesn't have to go all the way to the ends. And try not to pick a big glob of glue like I just did. If you've got a side that didn't paint as well, that would be a good side to put your glue on, because that's the side that's going to be against your houses. And have 2 clamps of some kind ready. Now I'm working on my tile, so if the glue seeps down, it won't glue it to my tile. And put your houses right up against each other, but leave a gap at each end. I'm going to flip this to its back so that you can see it here in just a second. So, whoops. We're standing it up so that we make sure everything is level with the tray. Whoops. I have glue on my finger. Yeah, that guy is a little bit too skinny. I'm going to take him out for just a sec. Do this because this piece is just a little bit thinner than the others. It's going to be a little bit harder to get to stick, but that's okay. So there we go. We've got everything lined up. I will try to get a picture, and you'll be able to see this better once the glue is dry and I can take the clamps off. You'll be able to see better what I did. But I'm going to let this glue dry, making sure this can sit flat on my table. I'll fiddle with it off camera, and then when the glue dries, I'll be back. All right, here's how it looks now. I did end up having to use some super glue to get that really skinny piece glued in because it just doesn't have enough contact. So now we're ready to add some doors and some windows. And to add doors, I am using my black paint pen, and I'm just going to put just a line down at ground level at some place on the front of each house. Then I have some bright yellow. This is Daffodil Yellow by Anita's. Any paint will work for this project. And I am just going to use a toothpick, and this will make it look like the windows have some light in them. And you can also get, with the toothpick, you can do much smaller windows. And you could leave the windows off if you want to. You don't have to do the windows and the doors. You could use the black pen for all of them. It's not going to show up a lot on this cream colored one, but that's okay. And I like to leave spots blank on the big one because that way it kind of looks like maybe there's some light, some rooms that don't have lights in them. So now that needs to dry. And that little bit of paint will just take a few minutes to dry. When it's dry, I'll come back and we will go on to the next step. Alright, that paint's all dry, and I have used some poster tack to attach this to a craft stick so that I've got a handle. And now I'm going to coat everything that's here with some matte Mod Podge. And I like to use, I'm using a very soft brush for this. We're just going to coat the whole thing. I don't want a lot of gloss on this piece. I want it to be, but I want to seal it because it'll just look nicer. Don't forget the ends of the sticks. And don't worry about the spaces at the ends. We are going to work on those yet. But we need to do the all the Mod Podge first. So that needs to dry, and I'm going to leave this Mod Podge open to the air so that it can get thicker like I've been doing. Well, I don't know if those projects are up yet. I've been doing that lately when I want to attach glitter with the Mod Podge. So I'm going to leave that there to thicken up a bit. I'm going to go wash my brush, and when this is dry on the houses, I'll be back and we can do our next step. All right, now that our Mod Podge has dried, we're going to add a couple of trees, and I think I want, well, first I want to trim the top of this. I'm going to do this very quickly today. I'm not going to go into great detail how to make these trees. This was last week. If this video goes up, and I think it's going to, this was last week's Tuesday video, was making the little trees from the different types of stems. All right, I've got the top shaped. I think this one I want to have, since that's a tall building right there, I think I'm going to go about that high on that one. And then we'll trim another one. So let's go ahead and get this. Well, I won't glue it in quite yet. Let's see, about how tall do I want this one? I want this one right about there. They don't have to be exact. I'm putting these in now because I didn't want to get Mod Podge on them when I Mod Podged the whole thing, but I do want to put some glitter on them. I'm going to put just a little, I'm actually going to get another one of these because I want to be able to dip into my glue, and I don't want to put that much glue out on my work tray because that will just be a mess. And you're going to want glue kind of up on the sides because we need to get it to glue to this. And if you end up with any sticking down below, that can be trimmed. Whoops, yeah, my thumb's sticky. That can be trimmed later when we take it off of here. Come on, I don't want you quite that tight. Get my fingers wiped off a little bit. I'm going to fiddle with those a little more off camera, but when that glue is dry, we can start adding some glitter snow to our project. All right, all the Mod Podge and glue are dry, so I have a really fine brush here and that thickened up Mod Podge. I'm going to start with the roofs of the buildings, and I'm going to put a nice coat. I'm going to kind of come down around the fronts of these, just the smallest amount. and put on a quite thick coat of the Mod Podge for this. You want to add a little bit of dimension. And now I'm going to put just the tiniest bit on the fronts of the trees, mainly on the front, but I'll probably put a little bit on the back too. We have to work kind of fast. We don't want this to all dry on us. This is the same white pearl glitter that I've been using for the last, well, like I said, I don't know what order the videos are going up in, so I've used it on a few projects this Christmas season for some of my Christmassy ones. And I'm working over a piece of printer paper. That way when everything is dry, I can just dump the extra glitter back into my jar. And I think I'm actually going to add just a little bit down here on the in front of the houses too. Oh shoot, just took my glitter off over there. So we'll let that Mod Podge all dry, and when it's all dry, I'll come back and we'll shake the excess off and see how it looks. All right, that Mod Podge is all dry, and I removed this from our little handle. So I love how this little village turned out. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, push the like button, leave me a comment. If you haven't subscribed and you enjoy my content, be sure and hit the subscription button and the notification bell so you know when I put out a new video. And be sure and check the blog post and the Facebook. Blog post should have more pictures of what I did, and I'll try and kind of write up the directions also. And I will talk to you next time. Bye.